Hello, my name is Nea and welcome to Crafts and Treasures. And today we're gonna be transforming some of my thrift store finds into Sylvanian Families display cases. And first we have this amazing case that I found only for $3.50. Of course, the price tag was on the glass. Don't you love when they do that? Anyway, we're gonna get rid of that and then hopefully fix up the whole cabinet. It is visibly very old and handmade. The lid is real glass, which I love because plastic doesn't always age the best. It is nice thickness, so I'm sure it will fit like plenty of Sylvanians inside. I'm thinking about maybe having like 2 shelves inside, but we'll see once we get into the project itself. Right now, I'm just super excited that I found something so beautiful. For the second display project, we're gonna try and clean and fix up this old jewelry box that I found for only €1. Obviously, it's missing its glass, so it's gonna need a new one, and we are gonna come up with a theme since it doesn't fit that many critters inside. But we're gonna start with the bigger case first, and obviously it's gonna need a little scrubbing because it is quite grimy and the price tag is still stuck to the glass. After I'm done scrubbing everything clean, it's time to measure the insides a little bit so we know what size of shelving we're gonna need. For the shelving, I'm gonna be using this part from an old IKEA bookcase that I don't really need and it doesn't really serve any purpose. It's thin, some sort of a plywood mixture, and I think it's gonna work just fine for this project. And I'm just gonna sketch the width and the length of the shelves on the backside of my shelving material before sawing them off camera. And actually, before I jump into that, I want to double check if I can actually fit 3 shelves instead of 2. And for that, we're gonna be using Kate Periwinkle from Milk Rabbit Family. I am thinking that only 2 shelves is gonna be enough since I want there to be enough space even above the rabbits or families, just so we get enough light inside the case as well. For the sawing, I use this Japanese handsaw. This is a must-have tool if you are a DIY girly like I am. It is so useful when making miniatures, but obviously it works well for this kind of projects as well. It doesn't take much space and it's really easy to use. Anyway, since now we have our shelves, we can start applying them inside the case. I'm first laying them inside using the little markings I measured earlier to make sure they're nice and even. After that, I'm gonna grab my stash of wooden miniature trim to look for some pieces to use on the side of the shelves to give them more support. I also wanna pick a more thinner trim to put in front of the shelves just so it gives them a more finished look and doesn't just leave the shelves looking like a random piece of plywood. Then I'm just gonna grab my miter shears, cut every trim the right length and glue everything on its place. In a perfect world, I would obviously be using wood glue, but since I don't have any, I will be using again my beloved tacky glue. I'm gonna apply a fairly good amount of glue to every piece and then set them down before letting them dry out completely. Once the glue is dry, I can take Kate Periwinkle again and eyeball a little what I actually want to do with the interior. The wood grain is beautiful, but it doesn't really make the critter pop. So what I want to do is to give it a little paint job. And I chose for my paint this acrylic white paint since I still had some left and I thought white could really help to bring more light inside of the case as well as help the critters itself be like the main item inside the case. I was able to do a couple of coats before I actually ran out of the paint, so I had to get creative and use paper to finish off at least the shelves. And here's how it looks like after that. And even though the paint job isn't the most perfect one, I'm sure it will be fine once we add all the critters in. And at this point, I decided that I want to dedicate this case for my exclusive families. And I only actually have the 40th anniversary chocolate rabbit family, so let's go and put them inside. And there they are, all looking cute, waiting for more families to join them. And then we still have the jewelry box to fix up. So, like I said in the beginning, I scored this for only €1. I think it's gorgeous. I love the rose color velvet insides, but it is really, really dirty. So, just like with the bigger case, we're gonna give this as well a good scrub. And also use some tape to get rid of all the lint inside the box. Once that's all cleaned out, I'm gonna add a new glass to this case. And for that, I'm gonna be using this piece of plastic that I actually got from a photo frame. It is quite thick, so I am a little bit nervous how it's gonna handle cutting. But I'm just gonna go ahead and try anyway. I have nothing to lose here. This plastic for some reason didn't take any marker or pencil on it, so I decided to use tape to measure or mark where I actually need to cut from. Then I just took my big kitchen scissors because they're sharp and have a little bit more power to them, and just went ahead and started cutting the plastic. And you can see that it starts to crack a little bit from the edges, but it's nothing too crazy since the case actually has a little bit of frame, so that's gonna hide it anyway. The lid had already these little plastic pieces to help the screen stay in place, so I didn't even need to use any glue. I just unscrewed them, added the screen in, and screwed them back in. After that, I thought that we would be just ready to put some critters and accessories in, but turned out that the little part in the left top corner doesn't really hold on to anything when it's on its side. And I don't want to use this as a tabletop. I don't want it to be laying on table. So I just decided to rip the whole left upper corner out and redesign the whole space. There was so much glue residue that I couldn't get rid of that I just decided to cover that back part with some leftover wallpaper that I had from the Strawberry Cottage project. I just cut the little piece to fit the hole and then just stuff it in. I didn't even glue it in because it was such a perfect fit that it stayed on its own, and if I wanna switch it somehow later on, then I'll still be able to do that. And then I was finally able to add everything in its place. And I decided to go with this kind of cake/sweets theme because I had these blind bag critters that were kind of sharing that same aesthetic, and I thought that would be really cute combination with the rosy velvet background. And here it is, all done. I really love how this turned out. Even though the dark background eats a lot of light from inside the box, it still looks great and it goes well with my customized sweet store. Anyway, that's all from me this time. I really hope you like this DIY/crafting video. And as always, I thank you for being here and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye!